Welcome to another episode of Time with Flora, where we talk, learn, and grow together. I'm happy to introduce my studio guest today, by name Bunmi Teru. Bunmi, you are very welcome to the show.
Thank you, Flora. Thanks for having me.
It's a delight to have you. Really
I'm
happy to have you
excited.
here. Bunmi, we first met some years ago. Actually, we used to work in the same organization. And the reason why Bunmi really caught my attention was because she was one of the very few ladies in the IT department. You're a techie is really how I know you. And I know that you own it.
Yes, I do.
And you're a fabulous techie, by the way.
Yes, I am.
But you have done a number of things. You are a graduate of computer engineering.
Yes.
And you also have a number of qualifications, some that relate to project management. And I know that's really been quite a big space in which you've operated in as well. But you're also the founder of Alfred and Victoria Associates, which is a capital development firm here in Lagos, and I know that you've been doing a lot of work working with recruiters and also individuals that are looking to be recruited.
Okay.
So and that's a really big passion of yours. Alfred and Victoria Associates also has a flagship initiative called the
Workers' Day Delight.
Workers' Day Delight, which is held for the last 3 years on the 1st of May, Workers' Day every year.
Yes.
And I've had the privilege of also being a participant, facilitator and mentor with that program. And really want you to talk a bit more about that. So Bunmi, really happy to have you here. What I think I'd like you to do is obviously say a little bit more about what you do, but really zoning in on Alfred and Victoria and how that baby came to be and what it's all about.
All right, Flora. Like she said, I'm a techie. I love it. I love being a technical person. I started my career as a core technical person and had worked in IT for many years. I'd worked from being a network engineer, network support engineer, and then to project management, because we realized that the technical management of the IT was a huge gap then. Technical people just want to do their stuff and go home. They don't know how, reporting and the others add up to the strategy of the organization. So I moved into that space and I did it very well. I did lots of transformation projects. I ran projects in sales department, in customer care, name it, transformation or cross-functional projects that involved every department in the organization. But everything was still resting on technology. However, I realized that, getting the best of hands in people in technology was a huge problem, I would say, a challenge for the human resources department. So you hear things like, we want to recruit engineers, and I'm wondering, what type of engineer? To the average human resource personnel just feels all engineers are like the same. Maybe they're just 3 engineering types. And for anyone who has worked in IT knows that you've got almost 15 or 16, almost 20 types of technical spaces in IT. So I realized that, I started working with people in human resources. Is it a network engineer? Is it an RF engineer? Is it a software engineer? Even in software, we've got front end, we've got back end, But when you tell the average HR person, you just hear engineer. And then I realized that, I also was, passionate about capacity development. I'm not just the technical person who just wants to do the configuration. I also want to ensure it aligns and helps the organization to meet its objective. IT is a business enabler. So if we're just doing that our bit and we're not enabling the business, then we've done nothing. So I realized that, there's a huge gap between the technical people and the human resources. And in the last 10 years, the world has gone global. Everybody has to embrace technology. You cannot run away from technology. I remember when WhatsApp first came, then BBM was it, and everybody thought, oh, we don't need WhatsApp. And
I remember that.
Yeah, so the adoption was so slow, and by the time WhatsApp came over, we know what happened to BBM. It's all story now. Yeah. So, you know, we realize that
about BlackBerry anymore.
Nobody, no. It's gone. Even on WhatsApp, you can't even, the BlackBerry owners can't even install WhatsApp now. So it's gone. I think it was decommissioned July or May this year. So you can imagine. So I realized that technology, we don't have a choice. It's come to stay. So how do we use it to make it our lives better? So I realized that, you know, huge gap, capacity, HR personnel, every job now has a bit of technology. So where do we marry? So I came in as a technical recruitment, and we started off the company when I realized that most people were asking lots of questions. Bunmi, can you assist me to recruit a project manager? I need a quality assurance manager in the IT space. I need an RF engineer, you know. And these are people from the traditional HR. So I realized that, you know, they couldn't just cope. They don't understand the technology and how technology had diversified. So I came in with my own expertise because, yes, literally I had worked with HR departments when my other company that we both worked together was just a startup then. So we needed to fill the space. So we realized that, you know, the HR person cannot do it alone. So I was nominated to work with the HR personnel. And that's how most of the positions were filled. Yeah. So I realized that, you know, as time went on, lots of people were always asking for one help or the other. And I realized, let's turn this to a passion. From passion, we turned it to a business. And that's how Alfred and Victoria Associates had been existing even before 3 years ago. We started off as just a training company. Foremost being a trainer for many years, technical trainer, project management, Six Sigma, quality management, lots of courses that, you know, I used to run, just, you know, it was just born out of passion. And I used to run in churches, different platforms that were not paying me. But I knew I needed to give something back to the community. Yeah. So when I started off this, I woke up one day, you know, I wasn't happy with lots of, you know, feedback from people that, you know, most of our youths are unemployable. You know, when I hear that, it's like, I also passed through the same school system. So why are you telling me the same school I went through, the same kids have gone through, and they're now not employable? So you know what? Let's see how we can bridge that gap.
Yeah. So, if I may, given what you know now, why is it that there is that perception by employers that, you know, the kids today or the young people today are not employable? Why is that?
First and foremost, I would go back to the curriculum. I told you that technology changed the world like 10 to 15 years ago. You know, we all say it, but we've never seen the implication of that. New jobs have come up. The old jobs have gone extinct, but we're still holding on to the old jobs. I'm applying as this. I want a job as this. Those jobs no longer exist. Why? Because they have been transformed into something with technology. So you must be able to know the tools with that job now, but many people don't know the tools. Okay, I give you an instance. Microsoft Excel. Yeah. We all know Office package. Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. As small as it is, I can tell you we have a great percentage of people who don't know how to use Excel. Most people only know how to use Microsoft Word because it's easy to type. Yeah. But with Microsoft Excel, this is where you do reporting, reconciliation. You look up data. Yeah. Many people don't go into that space. Like this week alone, I interviewed like over 10 ladies for a role in customer service. But this customer service is based on reporting, huge data analytics. But they haven't gone there. We've got resources. YouTube channel, lots of courses online, free courses where you could help yourself to upgrade. So that's where the gap is. They're as good as what the school has given to them. But when you come out of school, there's a gap that you need to fill before you can be employed.
Based on your own initiative,
exactly.
Your own personal initiative. It is not a system that will do it for you.
It's not.
You may be in an environment where the system could provide those facilities, but to go get it, it's something that you have to do with your own initiative. And so what you're feeling is that people are not really owning that enough.
Yes, we're not accepting that. You know, when you accept you have a challenge, you can work towards it. But when you shy away from it, you're delusional. You think you know it, but that's not the issue. But when you get there, it becomes glaring to you that you don't know this. I need you to go back and get it done. But when they ask you in that fanciful interview, on a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate yourself? Everybody says an 8. And I'm wondering, an 8? Can you do this, this? And they go like, what does that mean? Then I go, no, no, no. You need to learn the basic. And this is what the workplace of today is looking for. I want to pay you a good salary, but I want to ensure that I get value for that money.
So let me ask you then, or let me position another question. If the majority of employers in the employment environment realize that there is this gap, there is this lack that exists with the majority of potential employees today, is there more that they can do to put them in a position where when they do come for interviews, they are in a better position to get the job? Because there is that, there is a role that can be played here that is different to how it's been played, where yes, we know the individual has to kind of own it and be more proactive, but is there an opportunity for a potential employer to also do something about that?
Long before now, many organizations used to have the graduate training programs that could run for 24 months. You will not blame an employer now, because by the time I take minimum of, let's say, 50 people in, and I say I have a roadmap of training for 24 months, a new technology has come out. 6 months later. So you keep playing that catch-up game. So guess what? Many employers are saying, we've gone this route, but technology is not waiting for nobody. So guess what? You need to own it now. If we introduce you to like a platform, you should be able to take yourself to, if we give you step 1 and step 2, you should be able to help yourself to step 10. So now is the time. Why? Even when you get employed, there's a possibility that the technology that you were trained on will be upgraded like 5 times before you leave in 2 years. So what would happen? If you don't have that initiative to own it now, then there's no how they can help you.
And do the homework
yourself. You need to own it. So that's where the gap. So we started off and I realized that, you know, that gap, we could help many organizations to close it. So we opened up the Workers' Day Delight, where you come in, we'll have lots of guest speakers who give you information about the workplace, the trend in the world, and how you can take those opportunities on. After then, we'll have a one-on-one counseling session with you so that we can draft out a career roadmap. What I've seen is that many people, when you ask them, what type of job are you looking for? They tell me anything. I go ballistic there. Because by the time you were going into the university, you were going for a course. So I don't think in the JAM curriculum or GC or WAEC, there's a course known as anything. So you come out after your 4 years or 5 years in the university and you are owning anything as a career path. So what I say is, you sit down, you know yourself. Having university, like my father would say, university is universal knowledge. It shouldn't limit you. It's a platform for you to thrive. But many people have understood university knowledge as the course I read in school, and that's the career path. I'm a product of like 4 different career paths now. I single-handedly owned the human resources. I self-taught myself 3 years ago. I got grounded. I had a network of good people. I've got mentors. When I want to do anything, I know people I should call in the industry. Guess what? One of my mentors now has made me her mentor. This week. And she said, no, Bunmi, yes, you come to me for the HR, but for the business aspect of HR, you know it better. Why? Because I have equipped myself with all sorts of people around me, and I'm asking for all relevant information. So I'm asking, I'm curious, you know, I'm not just sitting. And then, you know, I'm not being distracted with everything that this generation is being distracted on. So in as much as we have, I've got YouTube, I've got lots of resources that, I just play it in the house 2 hours and I go like, I've just finished a course online. It's a diploma and I've just paid for the certificate. My certificate would come to Nigeria. So many people feel until you travel abroad to get certified. No, most of all the exams I wrote in globally recognized exams written in Nigeria. It's what you do with this knowledge. When you gather the knowledge, how do you transform the knowledge? How do you use it to impact lives? So one of the things I've seen on this new line of mine is that it gives me a sense of fulfillment that I'm giving back to the same community. I grew up in Nigeria. I can't run away from Nigeria. We all have to make Nigeria better. So for me, it's here. I'm going to do everything here. Yes, it's easy for us to get exposed internationally. My master's program is in UK, but I'm doing it in the comfort of my house.
The internet
so
has been
exactly
a powerful enabler for so many things.
So that's where I'm going to. The generation of today has seen the internet as more of an entertainment platform, more of everything entertainment, from videos to selfies, but you won't find them looking for knowledge, looking for different things online to make their lives better. So when they're seated in an interview and you're asking basic questions and they tell you, what is that? And you told me you spent 6 years in the university. You've not been able to even come up with a career path. I knew that I was going to be an engineer. By the time I finished, I had many options even to go into the banking world. But I said, no. I read engineering. Let me even understand this engineering. And then I went to a network telecom company. And then I learned how to do everything one after the other. I learned how to do configuration. I'm a Cisco network engineer. I wrote the exams. I took that career to the next level. Never settle to be a mediocre in any industry where you find yourself. That's what I would say to the new generation. Don't settle for less.
And something, one thing I would say is, even though those are the observations that in terms of how people choose to invest their time with, enabling platforms like the internet, I would say it even goes across not just the millennials or the...
No, it's everybody.
It's everybody.
It's everybody. I had one guy walk into my office this week. He did 18 years in the banking industry. And then the bank has let him go just last month. Then he says, Madam, help me get a job. I realized that he's 18 years. He gave into to that particular bank, but he never added anything to himself. So guess what? He waited for the bank to train him on all, for any organization where you work, the trainings you will get is to help you get the job done better and not your personal development. You should own your development.
We keep coming back to this.
So it's generation to generation. People become so comfortable and then they realize, if my company doesn't send me on training, then I'm not going. I've heard that comment from even people from my generation. And I know how much of my money every year as a paid employee that goes into self-development. If I was known to write like 3 exams every year. I had an issue in IT department because most of my other colleagues could not understand, why is she writing this exam? Does she want to take our job? Does she want to become a director here? And I said, no, I'm training to be a consultant. 10 years from now, I want to be a consultant. I want to be on my own. The definition of a consultant is an embodiment of knowledge. So someone comes with me with challenges, I should be able to say, oh, you should be able to do this, this, this. If you put it together, this is how your company should forge ahead. I should know more than the person bringing in the challenge. So I should be ahead of many people, really. Sure. So that was what I told them. I said, no, it seems you want to take our job. No, so many. Because, knowledge, one thing with knowledge is that you can't keep knowledge. You can't keep knowledge. You would have to give back with knowledge. When you're so knowledgeable, you want to be able to throw back to the community. You want to impact lives. And that's how Alfred and Victoria now veered off from just being a training company to a total human capacity towards your career. What do you want to do? Let me help you get there. Where I see gaps, they know me. I don't miss my words. You want a new job. You want to take your career to the next level. I usually say your 0 to 3 years, it's your beginner stage. There, they can throw anything at you. Do anything. Learn everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Be open to everything. Towards your 3rd year to your 5th year, you should be able to say, I think out of all the things I've learned, I think I want to choose this path. You understand? 0 to 3 years, be fine. Whatever you do, ensure you don't spend more than 3 years there. But get back to yourself. Yep. Don't sit on your desk alone, at your desk. Ask superiors, what are you working on? What can I help you with? And that's how I learned so many things. I had a senior manager who took particular interest in me. I saw her do Microsoft presentation. And I saw lots of, something flying in, audios here. This is 2008. I looked at her and I said, wow, you've done this presentation so well. You know what? I'm not talking about the content alone. I'm talking about, your proficiency in the use of this tool. If I know this tool, then I can turn many things around. Yeah. And she said, are you sure are you ready? And I said, yes. She said, make sure you're in the office 7 a.m. for the next 3 months. You're seated. My boss is going to invest in me. And she gave her time. Yeah. And by 6:55, she's seated every day. I'm seated like 6:45, expecting her. Yeah. And then she'll run me through, and that's how I became a guru. Yeah. So you see, my boss wouldn't have come to me. I went to her.
You got to demonstrate.
I realized, I owned it. I realized that, I didn't have a clue of this. Indeed. And I went straight to her. Yeah. And she looked at me and she said, are you sure? And I said, yes.
And that's the other thing that we don't see enough of, people following through.
No, to the end.
Absolutely. That is another area of weakness. So let me ask a question about legacy, because we're coming to the end and it's been absolutely fascinating, really, very much so. So what is the legacy, Bunmi, that you are working towards fulfilling for yourself?
Okay.
With all of this that you are doing and continue to do.
I'm working towards, trying to impact like 1 million lives minimum, who would also impact 10 million lives. I'm trying to come up with like a tree kind of structure where the people I mentor, I'm going to give you mentees under, and then, we spread the word. And that's the only time we can say we have done well in Nigeria. I want to be known to say, oh, there was a lady, that did this and this and this. Because of her, I've been able to get here. Because of her, I've been able to do this. Because of her company, what they do and what they stand for, I've been able to grow. I want to see a Nigeria where I'm hearing names in the future and somebody says, all thanks to God and all thanks to Alfred and Victoria Associates. I want people we have mentored to be in the global space, turning things around and making reference to that little sacrifice. I call it sacrifice because if I want to be selfish about it, I would go on and get another job. And everything I have now...
Because it's taken a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work. In the last 3 years has been, I can say, my adrenaline has been going from up and down every day because I just needed to get it right. So now it's a sacrifice because I can just get employed back and that dream goes off, and I went like, no, I need more of fulfillment. I need to know that many lives have been touched. I'm not one of the people who talk about Nigeria and say, oh, no, the people there. No, I'm a product of Nigeria. So what else can I do to uphold that name in the global space? And that's the only way I can do that. You cannot do anything without human beings. When you get it right with a person, then every other thing is right. We're complaining about everything in Nigeria today because the people, the focus should be the people. When we focus on the people will get many things right. But we're focusing on other things. We're looking at symptoms instead of the root cause. So I'm an advocate of the root cause because I'm a quality expert. Once you can deal with the root cause, then yes, it will take time. But before you know it, it becomes a lot easy. We're not shouting, we're not screaming. Most of, like Pareto principle, 80-20. So, if you can focus on the vital few will take care of the three while many. So that's what Alfred and Victoria stands for. So I'm like the advocate saying, let's get it right with the people, then we can deal with other things later.
A great legacy to aim for. So as we end, why don't you let people know how they can reach you?
Okay. So you can reach us on our website, www.alfred-victoria.com, Instagram, Alfred Victoria 1, our Facebook, Alfred and Victoria Associates. You can just search for it, and then Twitter, same thing, Alfred Victoria 1. So that's it.
And we'll make sure that we include that in the narrative as well when we post. Is there any last thing that you would like to say as we close down, Bunmi?
Okay, so the last thing, so the last thing I would say is, if you're not sure about your career, you don't know which way to go, our office is at 56 Okpebi. You can even call and book an appointment. Someone will run you through. You get to see a career counselor. We need you to get it right. Nigeria needs you. So we're waiting to get it right with you.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Bunmi, very much for being on the show.
Flora.
I'm sure everyone listening has picked up something. And may you continue to do all the great things that you are doing. Nigeria needs you. So this has been Time with Flo, where we talk, learn and grow together. Looking forward to the next show. Thank you to Bunmi Teru for today.
Thank you for this platform.
Bye.
Bye.